What's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Banjo, the dog, coming at you live from my garage. And this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show. Today's episode, Week 15, Thursday night play or pause. I'm covering the home team, which is Seattle. So the 49ers are going up to Seattle on a short week because, they just played on Sunday. So Brock Purdy's going to have a short week and a hostile, environment. So I'm looking forward to watching this game. I'm going to put Banjo down with the sister. Oh, get out of here. So, first off, if I could just ask for a second, if you could give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, comment, start, sit questions or any stuff like that. That'd be amazing. Shout out to our 42nd subscriber. Thank you so much, man. That is awesome. Or woman, that's amazing. That's like a dopamine hit to the brain. So thank you so much for that. I could use more. So anyways, to get started over this, like a preview of this game is so the over and under is 43.5 points. That's relatively low. So that'd be and I think that the 49ers are getting 3 points. So, they think the score is going to be 21-24. I would take the 49ers all day with those points if I was a gambler. So I'm sure that line will move before tomorrow night. But I think it's kind of what I said, short week, Brock Purdy. But still, I trust Kyle Shanahan and that entire roster to get more than 3 points lead on them. San Francisco has allowed an average of 230 passing yards per game and only 75 rushing yards per game and only 15.2 points per game, which is number one in the league. So their defense is killing it right now. San Francisco has won 5 of the last 5, and Seattle has lost 3 of the last 5. So Seattle started hot, and they've been kind of falling apart lately. A lot of that has to do with Kenneth Walker's injury. This offense is really reliant on a run game, and it just hasn't been there. So it's been kind of slow starts, and then trying to catch up, making mistakes type of stuff. The weather should be good with the game starting at 40 degrees with 5 mile per hour sustained winds. So the worst thing for Brock Purdy is just going to be the noise. 0% chance of precip up in Seattle. So that's good. And now here we go to the player pause section. I'm going to tell you if you should play him or if you should have some pause. Geno Smith, last 5 games, fantasy points scored 20, 19, 21, 24, 20 versus Carolina, who was the best defense he faced in those games. He just threw for 264 yards with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions versus the 15th ranked, Carolina defense. But now he has to go against the number 1 ranked 49ers defense. So just some of the fantasy points that were coming out of that have faced fantasy points, of the quarterbacks that have faced the San Francisco 49ers last 5 games. TB12, 10 points, Tua, 16 points, Dalton, 10 points, McCoy, 6 points. Justin Herbert, 11 points. So that's not looking good. And it's a divisional game, usually, low scoring, tough played game. But still, I think that I would play Geno Smith if I had him. But I think that his ceiling is 18 points. I think he's going to get 16 to 18 points. I think he's got a pretty good floor this game because San Francisco does allow points to the wide receivers, and that is the strength of the Seattle Seahawks right now are the wide receivers. DK Metcalf is a super physical, specimen, just like Tyreek Hill is. And Tyreek Hill torched him, 9 for 140 something. So I can see Geno Smith getting touchdowns and yardage via wide receivers pretty much. So I do like that. I think he's going to get 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 20 yards rushing. I think he's going to get 16 to 18 fantasy points. If you're okay with that, if the rest of your team's stacked and you just kind of want to get those points, that's what I would do. So, he hasn't had less than 19 points, in the last 5 weeks. So it is scary, but dude, the San Francisco 49ers have been killing everybody. And it's not like the Seattle Seahawks have been running the ball for the last 3 weeks anyways. And Geno Smith has still been getting these points. So I am going to play Geno Smith. I like Geno Smith. But again, he's not going to get you 25 points. It's not going to even be probably 22 points. I'm telling you, it's going to be high teens for his ceiling. And then here we go. Next up, Kenneth Walker. San Francisco #1 versus fantasy running backs this year. Just held Fournette and White to 69 yards with them, combined with them averaging 3.6 yards per carry. But those two did combine for 11 receptions for 54 yards receiving. And so Kenneth Walker, he doesn't have very many games with a lot of receptions. He's got like one with 3 receptions, and then another game with 6 for 55 versus Tampa Bay in week 10. And Tampa Bay is kind of a similar defense as far as you can't get your yards rushing. Like your running backs against Tampa Bay are usually not getting them via rushing yards unless you play like, the Panthers or whatever. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like the Titans and stuff like that. They get all their points via receiving. So I like Kenneth Walker this game. I think he's actually going to catch one of Geno Smith's touchdowns this game. So I think that he's going to get like 40 yards rushing and like 50 yards receiving and a touchdown. So maybe like 90 total yards and a touchdown with like 14 points. So yeah, plus the receptions. So you're looking at like a 15 points that I would think that Kenneth Walker is going to get this game. I think it's more of a bounce back game for him. I think if he's healthy, this game is going to set up well for him. He's got great receiving skills, and once he gets an open field, he can juke people. So I like that. And then so I'm playing Kenneth Walker. And then DK Metcalf. So San Francisco is the 24th best fantasy against, defense against wide receivers this year. And DK has had a touchdown in each of the last, that's Tyler Lockett. So anyways, DK has scored 10 or more fantasy points in each of the last 6 games. And he has 2 touchdowns in the last 3 since the bye. Also last 3 games, 15 targets, 8 targets, 10 targets. So we're looking at a physically gifted wide receiver that's going to get heavily targeted no matter what team they play. Who does that remind you of? Tyreek Hill. What did Tyreek Hill just do? He exploded. It's funny, exploded on a team, but he exploded on the 49ers. So 9 for like 146 and a touchdown. I like DK Metcalf. I think he at least gets 100 yards and a touchdown this week. Oh, yeah. And then, so I'm playing DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett. So San Francisco, 24th best. So, I mean, you should be able to play him, right? I'm thinking he's going to get a lot of yards. But there's a thing about Tyler Lockett. He only has 1 game with over 70 yards during this 6-game stretch. In that 6-game stretch, he has a touchdown every single game. Do I think that continues against San Francisco? No, I do not. And so if he's getting less than 70 yards and no touchdown, that's not really a viable fantasy wide receiver for you. So I am going to say pause on Tyler Lockett. At the same time, it's almost like a last year. I mean, it's not like a last year's Gabriel Davis. It's going to be kind of like a Mike Williams situation. Maybe not even that, dude. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to, but if you need to start him, you're going to have to. I mean, he's been producing, and if you've been reliant on him, you're probably going to have to, but play some high floor other players, because I think that he might let you down and only get like 5 or less fantasy points this week. So yeah, I have a little bit of pause on him. Anyways, also last week. Oh yeah, that's right. Gosh, dude. So Noah Fant coming up. I'm going to pause on Noah Fant. I had him on my waiver wire show after he had, like 50 yards and a touchdown 2 weeks ago. But he just had 1 target and 0 receptions last week. And this is not the time to wait around and see if people are going to produce. This is a fantasy playoffs. You're going to pause on Noah Fant. I mean, I'd almost play Will Dissly over him, but at the same time, you're not messing with a 2 tight end, maybe against the number. Also, San Francisco's the #1 defense against tight end, I'm pretty sure. Oh, number 4. I'm not messing around with that. So Seattle defense, allowing an average of 25.7 points per game, which is 29th in the league. And San Francisco has been 15th toughest against opposing fantasy defenses this year. So, and they have scored 9 or fewer points in each of the last 4 games, with a couple super low scoring games. And what do the 49ers do well? They run the ball, and they're 24th ranked against the run. So San Francisco is averaging 29 rush attempts per game, which is 9th in the league. They're just going to run it and run it and run it. If I had Jordan Mason, I would think about starting him in my flex. I mean, I have Jordan Mason, but I didn't make playoffs this year because of terrible luck. I made playoffs. I'm like #1 in this other league, but there's only one league that you truly care about and that determines your emotions. And that's been the league that I've suffered the most in. Dude, sometimes you just get high pointed by like, 500 points in a year somehow. That's like an average of like 40 points a game. Or let's not talk about that right now. Let's stay positive. So you are pausing on Seattle Seahawks defense. There's no way, dude. There's no way. And then I know it's kind of, but like I said earlier, you might be thinking, hey, Brock Purdy, man, go into a hostile environment for the first time. Maybe he'll throw a bunch of interceptions. I think that he will throw an interception in this game, no problem. It's just the run game that you don't want to mess with. So, and they're going to have so many opportunities because their defense is so good. And then Jason Myers, number 4 fantasy kicker on the year, for Seattle. He's only missed 1 field goal all year, but San Francisco is the number 1 ranked defense against fantasy kickers this year. But you know what? I don't care. I think there's going to be 2 touchdowns and then probably at least 2 field goals from Jason Myers. So if I'm getting that's 8 points from my kicker, I want 10 points from my kicker. That's my goal every week. But I will play Jason Myers. And then some injuries to go through at the end. So I should have talked about this before, but I wrote this down later. San Francisco defense has 2 cornerbacks that are, one is out, one is questionable. Aubrey Thomas and Sam Womack III. So that is even better. Remember what I was saying about wide receivers being able to take advantage of San Francisco. These dogs are going crazy. Dogs going crazy. Seattle offense, just DJ Dallas. So more Kenneth Walker, dude. So I like Kenneth Walker this week. I'm playing him. Hey, this is fantasy playoffs. I know it's fun to watch people on Thursday night. And this is a crazy week. We have Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Monday. Dude, crazy. So we're going to stay on top of it for you, hopefully. And I don't know if I gave any. Did I give 65 yards, 0 touchdowns for Tyler Lockett? I don't know, maybe. I'll throw that out there. My dogs are doing figure 8s, man, in my garage. Noah Fant, 20 yards, no touchdowns. I just like to forecast, stat people out and see how close I am. I think it's almost like 60, it's like 55-45, where I'm actually within like a 10% range. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you to the 42nd subscriber, whoever you are. That's amazing. And next time you see me, I will have a tall can in my hand, and we will be having fun. So hope you join us, and we will talk to you later.